Welcome, friends. I'm Chris. I'm from Transformation Nation Yoga and Wellness. Welcome to Chakra Yoga. In this practice, we're going to be working on heart chakra, and the format is going to be Yin-Yang Yoga. Now, in some other studios, you may sometimes hear this format referred to as Vinyin or Yin-Yasa or something like that. That's all just branding. But what you'll need to know is about the first 35 minutes of the practice will be movement in tandem with breath. It will be a vinyasa formatted sequence. And then the last 25 minutes will be long held, deep passive stretches. So it'll be yin yoga in nature. What you'll need to be safe, to enjoy, and to get the most out of your practice today are a yoga mat. Now, I really recommend something for the vinyasa portion where you get really good frictional resistance. Two foam or cork yoga blocks. Now, one thing I want you to know about the blocks, part of what we're going to be using them for is a trigger point release of the serratus anterior. Under the best of circumstances, it's not a comfortable pose. It's not a comfortable pose. So know that if you've got like a very rigid plastic, like the Manduka gray, not plastic, but the Manduka gray compact foam blocks, super rigid, or if you're using a cork block or a wooden block, could be a lot. Could be a lot on your serratus. So listen for the cue on how to use the other hand as the dial knob on sensation. And know that you could also pad up the top of this with a blanket, which is another prop you might choose to have today. If you practice with me much, you know that I'm a big advocate for props. Bolsters in particular, I use almost every practice. I'm not going to be choosing to use a bolster for this practice, but if it's something that you want that makes your practice better for you, I'd encourage you to go for it. So pause your recording, roll out your mat, gather up your props, and when you're ready, press play, and I'll meet you on your mat for Chakra Yoga. Come to a comfortable seat. No, we're not going to be here a long time. Let's set up so you're stable. So as always, the same keys, really similar cues to what I always give. Stack your joints, put your head over your shoulders, over your hips. Find some length along your spinal column. For me, what really helps with that is if I visualize pressing into my seat and having both my heart and the crown of my head grow and lift up toward the stars. And then we're going to do one cleansing breath, and then 3 times we'll exhale the sound yam, Y-A-M. Not compulsory. If you don't want to exhale yam, you certainly don't have to do that. The cleansing breath first. Deep, life-affirming inhale through your nose. And then open your mouth, let it go through your mouth with a ha. And then 3 times, I'll cue for an inhale. The yam sound, think of making the om sound, but it's yam, Y-A-M instead. Inhale. Yam. Inhale. Yam. Inhale. If you chose to close your eyes down, you could gently blink your eyes open and then roll over your crossed ankles and sit up into a half frog pose. So I'd like you to come down onto your belly. Go post your arms out to the side. Turn your gaze to the right and lift your right knee up along the mat in the general direction of your right elbow. The right knee doesn't have to touch, it doesn't even have to be close. And then soften here. Soften, no engagement required of you here, except engaging with the breath. Start to lengthen out your breath. Deeper on your inhales, deeper on your exhales. All right, we're going to shift over to the other side. So start that movement with your right knee. Lower your right knee back down in line with your left. Shift your gaze over to the left. Lift your left knee up in the general direction of your left elbow. Now begin to constrict the whisper muscles at the back of your throat and shift into your ujjayi breath, bringing that additional texture, that ocean sound to your breath. And then other than the engagement with the breath, just like the other side, see if you can release everything. Let all your connective tissues, the weight of your body, drift down toward the earth. Now draw your left knee back down in line with your right. Bring your gaze back to neutral. And then start walking your elbows up under your shoulders for a Sphinx pose. Your index fingers pointing roughly at 12 o'clock. Flatten your palms out in the earth. Walk your legs long behind you. Press the shoelace parts of your feet down into your mat. Soften your belly. Drag your elbows back toward your waist. And lower your heart down to the earth. Make your way onto your left side. Grab a block and find a left forearm plank with your left shoulder floating over your left elbow. The whole, left shoulder over left elbow, right shoulder over left, the whole right side of your body floating over your left. Take one block, place it up under your rib cage at the highest height so that the edge closest to your waist is clearly in the rib cage. You feel it in the rib cage. The edge furthest away from you, just barely in the armpit. And then bring your right hand down to the mat. Start to walk that left elbow out to the side. Maybe release your left temple into your left hand. Now, depending on how sensitive your serratus anterior feels today and the composition of your block, this could be a lot. It's probably not going to be comfortable for anyone. I also don't want it to be like tearful pain. So the role of the right hand is to adjust the sensation. If you press your hand down into the mat with a block, you can lift up and engage a little less weight of the body onto the block. Right? You don't have to do this, but if you really want to get into serratus, if you really want to feel that, press the front of your heart forward toward that right hand edge of your mat. Ooh. And that is it for me right there. All right, bring your right hand back down to your mat. Lift up. Come back into that forearm side plank. Remove your block. Lower all the way down. Now pivot your left elbow about 45 degrees out from the body. Put a bend in that elbow and orient the palm of your left hand down toward the earth. If you like, you can release your left ear down to your left shoulder. Now, rather than having the hand super far out, draw that left thumb in so it's maybe an inch or an inch and a half from your chest. And then place your right hand on the back of the left hand. Not pressing down, just a little additional weight. So we're looking for an internal rotation stretch here. So if I've cued this appropriately and I set this up right for you, you might feel this on the top right head of the shoulder. Release your right hand from the back of your left hand. Using good body mechanics, however you want to get there, make your way onto your right side. Find that right side forearm plank, side plank, forearm side plank. Tuck that block up. Again, edge closest to you is in the rib cage, edge furthest away just barely in the armpit. And then bring your left hand down to the mat. Slide your right elbow back toward the back edge of your mat. Maybe release your right temple into your right hand. And if you find you're more tender, like my right side here is much more tender than my left, I think that's quite normal. Bring your left hand down to your mat. Press down enough that you can lift up, remove the block. Come back down onto your right side, just like the other side. Pivot your right elbow 45 degrees from the body. Put a bend in the elbow. Orient the palm of your left hand down toward the mat. Draw the thumb in close to your chest and just rest your left hand on the back of your right hand. And you can press that left hand a little more firmly down on the back of the right. Just be really cautious. The sensation of my shoulder here, it feels like this jujitsu shoulder lock called a Kimura, right? It's the exact same sensation. So I think we could easily overdo it here. All right, release your left hand down to the earth, straighten your right arm, make your way into a tabletop position. I'm going to face you, but I would love for you to be facing the top edge of your mat. So float your shoulders over your wrists, your hips over your knees. And we're going to begin with rhomboid push-ups. So straight arms here, back of the head stays buoyant to start, in line with the back of the heart. But on your next inhale, release your heart down toward the earth. So what I feel here, the sensation feels like the shoulder blades closing together, like I was trying to pick up a broomstick, pinch a broomstick. And then exhale, press into the heels of your hands, press the back of your heart up toward the stars. If you like, at the top of this movement, release your chin to your chest. Inhale, drop your heart down toward the earth. Back of the head becomes buoyant again. Exhale, press the back of your heart skyward. Inhale, drop your heart down toward the earth. Exhale, press the back of your heart skyward. Inhale, come back to neutral. Now, tuck your toes under your feet. Camel legs. Bring your knees together. Feet come out wide, maybe full width apart. We're going to do some camel rolling. So on an inhale, come up onto the tips of your fingers. Drop your belly down toward the earth. Lift your gaze. Find a muscular engagement that feels like dragging the tips of your fingers back toward your waist. And then exhale, release the heels of your hands down to the earth. Puff the space between your shoulder blades up toward the stars. Release your chin to your chest. Inhale, up on fingertips, drop your belly, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through the shoulders. A little bit more thoracic spine work here before we move on. Come back into a neutral spine position. Slide your left hand to the center of your mat, right under your sternum. Take your right hand to the base of your spine, or sorry, the base of your skull. So your whole right arm is parallel to your mat. On an inhale, squeeze your legs together, lengthen along your spinal column. Exhale, lift your right elbow up toward the heavens. Inhale, come back into right arm parallel to the earth, so come out of the twist aways. Exhale, re-engage with your twist. Continue moving through this at the cadence and the pace of your own breath. I do a lot of computer work in my other job, so I find I tend to get locked up in the thoracic spine a lot. And this, the rhomboid push-ups in this are two components that I pull into my daily wellness practice. Come back into a neutral spine position. Release your right hand down to the earth, right under your sternum, left hand at the base of your skull. Inhale, lengthen from tailbone to the crown of your head. Exhale, lift your left elbow up toward the stars, and just like the other side, cycle through this at the cadence and the pace of your own breath. Find stillness again. Release your left hand down to the mat. Release your knees again. Walk your hands back towards your knees. You can sit onto your heels or sit onto one or two blocks, whatever feels appropriate in your body this morning. And then feed your right arm across the front plane of the body. You can do one of two things. You can catch your right wrist in your left hand and use your left hand to traction the fingers of your right hand further to the left, or wrap your left elbow up under that right tricep, and you can find the same action. This is a little more conventional, probably for this inferior capsule stretch. But it's just personal preference. Both of those actions are right. All right, release your right hand back down by your waist, and we're going to change sides. Feed your left arm across the front plane of your body. In either way of taking this inferior capsule stretch, please feel free to do that. All right, good job, friends. Release your left hand back down to your waist. Now, I'd like you to lift your arms up. Bring fingertips, palms of your hands, heels of your hands, even forearms and wrists together. Elbows below, just a little below chin level. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze everything together. And then on your next inhale, keep squeezing together. Lift the tips of your fingers up as high as you can. This is probably going to be very subtle, maybe an inch and a half of movement. Exhale, come back to our starting position. Inhale, lift the tips of your fingers up toward the stars. Exhale, come back to our starting position. Inhale, lift the tips of your fingers up as high as you can. Exhale, this time push up any amount higher. Come back to our starting position. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Inhale. Exhale, release your right hand to your heart. Shift your gaze to the right. Open your right arm out to the side. Think of a bird opening a wing. Exhale, come back to center. Squeeze. Exhale, left hand to the heart, gaze to the left. Open your arm up to the left. Inhale, center. Squeeze. Exhale, open to the right. Center. Squeeze. Open to the left. Center. Squeeze. right, center, squeeze, left, center, squeeze, stay right here, squeeze, 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 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale, release your arms, maybe shake out. Good job, friends. And then come back into a tabletop position. We're going to start moving through some sun salutations. So on an inhale, tuck your toes under your feet. Exhale, press your hips up and back. First down dog of your practice, which for me is got to involve some movement of the lower body. So find some gentle movement of the legs to warm yourself up. Check your hands, index fingers at 12 o'clock. And now find some stillness in your downward facing dog. A bend in your knees is just fine, even a generous bend. Flatten your palms out on the earth. Press all 10 knuckles down. Relax your neck. And on your next inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, walk or step to the top edge of your mat. And we're going to be taking a ragdoll, Uttanasana. Feet hip distance apart. Make the shape of the number 11 with your feet. Bend your knees enough that your whole belly rests on your thighs. Relax your neck. Maybe grab opposite elbows or maybe interlace your hands at the base of your skull. And shift more weight into the balls of your feet than your heels. Relax your neck again. Release your fingertips down to the earth. Heel toe your feet together. Shift the weight into your heels. Inhale, halfway lift. Straight spine. Legs may be very, very bent. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press into your feet. Sweep your arms out to the side, up over your head. And then exhale, draw your hands down into heart center. Inhale, lift your arms up over your head. Exhale, tee your arms out to the side. Inhale, flip your palms up, turn your thumbs back behind you, lift your gaze, draw your shoulder blades together. Exhale, right from here, hinge into a forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, step back into high plank. Press all 10 knuckles down into the earth. You do this from knees as well, friends. Still a high plank. Puff the space between your shoulder blades up toward the stars. Make the back of your head buoyant. Inhale right here. And then on an exhale, knees up or down, lower your heart down to the earth. Inhale, easy cobra, hands under your shoulders. Pull the heels of your hands back towards your waist. Press the shoelace part of your feet into the earth. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, walk or step to the top edge of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press into your feet, rise, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, tee your arms out to the side. Inhale, lift your gaze, turn your thumbs back behind you, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Actually, sweep the fingertips together, forward, in front of you. Press the space between your shoulder blades back behind you. This is what I intended to do the first time. I just missed it. Inhale, come back to arms out to the side. Open your heart. Exhale, right from here, hinge into a forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, step back into high plank. Inhale in high plank. Exhale, lower down to the earth. Inhale, easy cobra. You could go into an upward dog here. It's a little early in the practice for me. Exhale, downward facing dog. On an inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, walk or step to the top edge of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise. Come all the way up to standing. Exhale, tee your arms out to the side. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, high plank. Inhale in high plank. Exhale, lower down to the earth. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Draw in a deep, deep breath through your nose. Hold it at the top. And then open your mouth, let it go. On an inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, move to the top edge of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana, feet together or hip distance apart. Spine is long regardless, but hands could be on the thighs. That's chair pose. You could have your back up against the wall. That's chair pose. Hands at heart center, also chair. Or lift your arms up over your head. Shift the weight into the heels. More weight in the heels. Tuck your belly button in towards your sternum. And open your heart up more. Maybe press the bones of your arms back behind you toward the back edge of your mat. And breathe. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, step back into high plank. Inhale, shift forward on your toes. Float your shoulders over your wrists. You can do this knees up or down. Exhale, keep the back of your head buoyant. Come halfway down. Chaturanga. Hands, arms, shoulder, everything shoulder width apart. Inhale, open your heart. Up dog is fine here. So is easy cobra. So is sphinx. Exhale, downward facing dog. On an inhale, float your right heel up toward the heavens. Exhale, step forward, rise into warrior one. Replacing your right hand with your right foot. Orienting your left toes 8 to 10 o'clock. Maybe heels together like railroad tracks, maybe super wide. Hands maybe on that front thigh. Maybe at heart center. Or here, goalpost the arms, make a little fist. On an inhale, lift your gaze, draw your shoulder blades together like you were pinching a broomstick. Exhale, hands, wrists, forearms, elbows, all squeeze together. Release your chin to your chest, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, come back into goalpost arms. Exhale, release your hands down to the earth. Step back into high plank. You could press directly into down dog, or you could flow through a vinyasa. Go from a high plank to a low plank. Any heart opener, and then we'll meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left heel up toward the stars. Exhale, step it forward. Rise into warrior one on the second side. Right toes 2 or 3 o'clock. Press down into the pinky edge blade of your right foot. One of many options with the arms is goalpost arms here. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, come back into goalpost arms. Exhale, release your hands down to the earth. Step back into high plank and chart your own course to down dog. You get here in the way that makes the most sense for you and your body today. On an inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, walk, step, or float to the top edge of your mat. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, step back into high plank. Inhale in high plank. Exhale, low plank. Knees up or down. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right heel up toward the stars. Exhale, rise into warrior one. Stabilize on your inhale. Exhale, open up to warrior two. Bring the pinky edge blade of your left foot parallel to the back edge of your mat. Press your right knee out toward the pinky edge blade of your right foot. Arms parallel to the earth. Draw your belly button towards your sternum again. And then shift your gaze over the left-hand edge of your mat. On an inhale, flip your palms up, lift your gaze, turn your thumbs back behind you, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders, palms down, and then thumbs up in the opposite direction. Release your chin to your chest. Good, friends. Looks good. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, come back into goalpost arms. Maybe shift your gaze out over the middle finger of your right hand. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down to the earth. Step back into high plank and chart your own course to down dog. On an inhale breath, lift your left heel up toward the stars. Exhale, step forward, rise up into warrior one. And just like the other side, stabilize on your inhale. Exhale, warrior two. Press that pinky edge blade of your right foot even more firmly down into the earth. Shift your gaze out over the right hand edge of your mat. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. No vinyasa for this transition. Inhale, come back into warrior two. And as you exhale, step your right foot forward to meet your left at the top edge of your mat. You guys stay there. I'm going to change my position just for demonstration purposes. Heel toe your feet out to about hip distance apart. Bring your arms parallel to the earth, palms face down. So we're going to do some turn and bounce. So just watch this first time. This is an 8-count exercise where we'll pulse to the left, 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 center, right, 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 center, 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 left, 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 center, right, 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 center. Good job. Float your arms down towards your waist. That's a lot. Maybe shake your arms out. And then on an inhale, sweep your arms up over your head. Exhale, hinge into a forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, step back into high plank. And then lower down into any resting pose in your belly. Child's pose might be nice here with all that shoulder engagement that we've done. But it doesn't really matter what I think, friends. It's what would be restful for you. So that Ujjayi breath served you really well the first half of the practice. Won't hurt a thing if you wanted to keep it up. And you don't really need it where we're going. During these yin shapes, I'm going to be offering you an affirmation, just words and thoughts for you to turn over in your head. So if that is supportive of you where you are today in your practice, feel free to do that. If it's not supportive or, God forbid, it's harmful, please just disregard. It's not that important. All right, shift yourself up into a tabletop shape. Goal here will be hips floating over the knees the whole time. I'd like you to have two blocks. Maybe place them shoulder width just ahead of your hands. And we're going to go into Anahantanasana. So with or without the blocks, bring your elbows down to the blocks, bring the palms of your hands together. Release your thumbs toward the space between your shoulder blades. And the words to turn over in your head here are, my heart radiates a powerful green light. My heart radiates a powerful green light. So we're looking for you to feel something here. But what we want you to feel is not pain. Rather, it's the threshold between discomfort and pain. So look for that diffuse pressure, that dull achiness, or the bitterness, or however you describe it to yourselves. And if you go beyond that into the pain threshold, lift yourself out of this pose a little bit. You could place a block under your heart or a bolster under your heart and your belly. My heart radiates a powerful green light. Start to shift your weight forward, come back onto your forearms, and then lift up. And we're going to take just a few breaths in a rebound pose. So what I would recommend is embryo. So bring your knees together, drop your seat down towards your heels, reach the backs of your hands to press into the back edge of your mat, down by your feet. Release your forehead down to the earth. If your forehead doesn't easily and organically touch the earth, place a block under your forehead. And see if you can totally de-energize your shoulders. Let gravity just drape everything down toward the earth. And start lifting yourself up out of this shape. And using good body mechanics, however you want to get there, make your way onto your right side. Reach your right arm out over your head. Maybe rest your right ear on your right bicep for now to start. Put a deep bend in your knees, almost like you were trying to touch yourself in the chin. And then place the back of your left hand on your lower back. Start sliding your right hand in between your shoulder blades as you lower your left shoulder down to the earth behind you. So remember, we're looking for discomfort without pain. So on a scale from 0 to 10, 4 to 6, which means if you go beyond that right away, like ease it up. That might even look like bringing your left hand to your hip instead of the low back. But if your body wants more right away, the volume knob on the sensation in the shoulder looks like sliding the back of your left hand higher up the spinal column toward the back of the neck. And please don't get too wrapped up in the alignment of that right arm. It's just like we're looking for a pillow for the back of your head, and that right forearm makes a pretty handy pillow. The words I'll ask you to turn over in your head are, I am worthy of the purest love. I am worthy of the purest love. All right, friends, there's nothing wrong with where you are right now. Nothing, not a thing wrong. Only if you want more sensation, slide the back of your left hand higher up your spinal column. Maybe lower your left shoulder closer down toward the earth. That should put you more into the twist. You could also potentially, from the twist, if you wanted, you could straighten your left leg and let gravity draw that big toe edge blade of your left foot closer down to the earth.
If you slid the back of your left hand any amount up your spinal column, slide it back down to your lower back, maybe release your left hand to your hip, and then start lifting your left shoulder up, straighten your legs. Using good body mechanics, make your way onto the other side. Throw your left arm up over your head, hug your knees in towards your chin. Bring the back of your right hand to your lower back. Fold your right shoulder down to the earth behind you. Slide your left hand in between your shoulder blades. I am worthy of the purest love. Check in with your body. Two things. One is space. If you created space, you know the tools you have. You can slide the back of your right hand up your spinal column to get into the shoulder. You could lower your right shoulder or straighten your right leg to get more into the twist. But also check in for gripping. Notice if you've taken this at a higher level of sensation, often our bodies take on this sort of protective grip. We go almost into a fight, flight, or freeze, sympathetic nervous system response, and it's really hard to relax. See if you can bring the sensation, dial it into a point where the sensation level is fairly high, in that 4 to 6 range, but not so high that your body is unconsciously gripping and trying to protect you. Slide the back of your right hand back down to your lower back. Release your right hand to your right hip. Maybe straighten your legs, but I'd like you to roll onto your back, and I'd like you to have 2 blocks. And slide the soles of your feet in towards your seat. So put a big generous bend in your knees. Set up for bridging. Grab 2 blocks if I didn't say that already. Press up, lift up. Maybe start with 1 block under the lower back. That might be fine. You could stay right here. For a little bit more sensation, place a second block both at the lowest height on top of the first. Reach your arms out over your head. Right, and the old vinyasa cue for a supported bridge is to press down into the soles of your feet. Please don't worry about here. Relax your legs. But one more option, if you wanted to really add to the sensation here, straighten your legs. And then you can release all the muscular engagement that you can possibly release. Let all your soft tissues fall down into the earth. And the words that I'll ask you to turn over in your head here are, I direct love and light toward myself and others. I direct love and light toward myself and others. All right, friends, in a moment, I'm going to be inviting you to move into your final resting shape. All right, so pick any pose that allows you to balance relaxation and alertness. But if you don't have a preference, you're in the market and you're shopping, I do have a suggestion that I think supports the work that we've done. So you could stay right here. Now, if you took this restorative bridge with the legs lengthened, I would call this a block bridge. It's actually a pose from the gravity yoga system. We come out of this first. The restorative bridge is an option for a resting shape. Or with good body mechanics, come down off your blocks. Set up 2 blocks at the lowest or the medium height close to the top edge of your mat. And then come down onto your belly with the tops of your shoulders close to the top edge of the blocks. Bring your hands down by your waist. And you can either relax your forehead down to the earth here or turn either cheek down to the earth.
Know that you could choose to close out the practice in your final resting shape. There's nothing wrong with you or where you are right now, exactly as you are right now. You could also start to draw some deeper breaths and feel for a sense of your body coming back to life after this resting shape. And you might choose to begin to reanimate your body with any small movements, maybe wiggling your fingers or your toes, maybe gently drawing your chin from one shoulder to the other. You have the option now to start adding some medium-sized movements, maybe rotating your hands at the wrists, your feet at the ankles. There may be some large movements. That might look like a full body stretch. That might look like if you're on your back, putting a bend in your knees, dropping your knees from side to side, windshield wipering your legs. But if you're not already seated, make your way onto your right or your left side. If you're already seated, stay exactly where you are. Take a few moments, 3 or 4 breaths, just check in, notice how you're feeling. Feel for space and openness around both the front and back of your heart and see if you were able to open anything up for yourself there. And then press yourself up into any seated position with any soft eyes. And you can do anything that you like with your hands. Today, I'm going to place my left hand on my heart and my right hand on top of my left, but this is my choice. It does not need to be yours. Thank you, dear friends, for moving and breathing with me. May you walk through the world with an open heart. If you move to do so, draw your thumbs to the space between your eyebrows. Blessings to you and your family. And that concludes our practice for this morning. Great job, friends. Again, I'm Chris. I'm from Transformation Nation Yoga and Wellness. This was Chakra Yoga, where we focused on the heart chakra in a Yin-Yang yoga format. You're doing amazing. Keep going.